Hi everyone, this is Pam, the Arctic Firefly, and welcome to the first video of 2012. So today we are going to be using the Nifty 50s Cricut cartridge, and we are going to be using two images from this cartridge. We are going to be using this sewing machine here, and that's on page 22, and then we're also going to be using this background layer from the phone icon on page 48. So I have two colors of paper loaded up here on my mat. Both of them are Stampin' Up. Here we have More Mustard and we have Basic Gray. I'm going to be cutting out the background portion, this one right here, in More Mustard, and the base layer for the sewing machine in the Basic Gray. So right now my settings is at 4 inches, so that's how big I want my background to be. So I'm going to come over here and find the phone, which is this one right here. And the thing about some of these newer cartridges is that they actually show you where the button is on the pad, so you don't have to do a whole bunch of searching. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and it's the basic layer, it's not a shift. And I'm going to go ahead and hit cut. So I'm going to hit line return, which is going to bring it up. I'm going to scoot over a little bit. And then I'm going to do the first layer for the sewing machine. And as you can see, it's the second button right here. And I am going to move my size down a little bit. We're going to try this at 3 1/4. Go ahead and push cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the next layer, which is the shift, and it's the upper layer of the sewing machine. And I'm going to cut out the fabric and the spool of thread. I'm using Stampin' Up! Colors again. I'm using Basic Black, and I'm using Riding Hood Red. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my shift, then my sewing machine button, hit cut. Okay, now we're going to cut out our fabric and our spool of thread. So we're going to hit the layer 1 button, and then we're going to hit the sewing machine, and then we will hit cut. Alright, and then we're going to unload the paper. So we will get our sewing machine all put together, and then we'll start assembling our card. Okay, I have my sewing machine all put together, and I used my Uniball gel pen, and I added some stitchings around on the black part. I thought it looked a little boring. There was no detail or nothing, and I even added a little bit of some marks on the spool of thread to give it a little look of, you know, the thread marks on there. Alright, so here I have a piece of craft cardstock. I have it cut 5 1/2 by 8, or 5 by 8, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 to make a standard A2 sized envelope. This is craft paper you can purchase at Joann's. I have a piece of Cajun Craze Stampin' Up! Cardstock here. It's cut at 5 1/4 by 4. Yes, 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to go ahead and use our ATG gun and get some adhesive along the edges here and put this on our card body. Alright. I'm using a little bit of a retro 70s. It's Nifty 50s, but I'm using 70s colors. They're here. Alright, I also wanted to do some stitching on this More Mustard piece, but I'm going to be using my Stampin' Up! Stampin' Right marker here, and I'm going to be using the 0.6 millimeter side. And I'm just going to show you how I'm going to start doing this, and then I'll finish it off camera. So a dot, a line, and a dot. And I'm just going to keep going with lines and dots all the way around. So when I get finished with that, I'll return and we'll... Oh, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, baby, I can hear you. So line, dot, line, dot. And it gives it this appearance of stitching. And it'll look really good when it's done. Alright, so I'll get this going and then we'll be back.